Hello and welcome to Delmer TV. Tonight we have Linda Nisthauz, who is a mental health counselor. Linda, welcome to Delmer TV.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you?
Doing real good. Linda, how is mental health affecting your community?
Well, I would say it's affecting greatly because like I was explaining a little while ago, we have a problem with accepting that there is a problem in mental health in our culture, in the Latino culture. We have a problem with that because it's kind of like a stigma. That's something that we don't want to talk about. So it affects we have a lot of depression, but we tend not to talk about it. There's a lot of people in our culture, so we're kind of like, well, afraid to say. So it's affecting a lot, especially the younger generation right now. It's affecting them as well because, once again, if in my case, if I were to say something to my grandparent back then, they'd be like, I'm going to smack you. There's no such thing. Get over it. Our parents, the same thing. Now our new generation, the new young people, who are they to ask for help when we don't talk about it? It's kind of like a taboo, like you said.
So in a way, they're more dismissive. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's not. But in reality, it is. And especially right now, especially with this pandemic, with being indoors, with kind of not socializing, it's more and more right now.
Would you say mental health is perceived sort of a negative way in your community?
Yes, 100%. It is because, again, nobody wants to talk about it. It's something that you kind of like keep it in the back, like say, we don't express it too much, and we should. We really need to.
For instance, if there is someone who's going through the mental health situation and they don't know how to handle that situation, what are the alternatives besides therapy or medicine? Is there any alternative, like maybe like a religion? What is it called?
Well, in religion, with the Latino community, we're very religious people, very Catholic. So, sometimes when we have problems and stuff, we tend to take our children to speak to a priest or somebody in the community, somebody in the church that we can just, to say what's going on. Or I've seen people in the Mexican community that because what the problem is here, when there's mental problems, they go around and instead of talking about it or having some sort of therapy on it, they turn to substance abuse. So they drink, they drink or whatever other alternative drug that they can use. Not everyone, but the majority do. And what happens is that we try to, sometimes we use religion in the sense where we can say, I'll go up to like the Virgin Mary and say, I promise that I will stop drinking. And, we ask for prayers and help and stuff like that. But in reality, what I think that we need is more places where we're able to help people with mental health issues.
So as you said,
and like addressing the problem, we need to address it to make sure that it's, that we need to be more open, pretty much.
Absolutely. Instead of numbing it away with other substances.
Exactly.
Another down, which is really a tough situation. It's hard to come back from that. It seems there's a lot of familiarity when it comes to your community and my community, how to handle the situation. So in staying within that frame, what are the biggest health-related challenges or barriers facing in the community?
A lot. We don't have places to get help. We don't have enough people that are within the mental health. How would I call it? Therapy, things like that. There isn't enough information out there. And even if there is, like I said, we need to address things with the parents of the younger generation. We need to be more openly about it because there's nowhere to go for any type of mental health situation, even substance abuse. It's very limited for the Latino culture. It's not like we can go to I'll give you an example. Let's say we go to a clinic, but it's not the same thing speaking to an interpreter versus speaking to someone that, you know, has a little bit of the culture, that understands the culture, that we can try to address that. You know, depression is real, anxiety is real, because it is real.
Unfortunately, it is a fact. It is
Mhm.
real.
It is.
Now, would you
Mhm.
say maybe the community is lacking people who are packed with that kind of knowledge, like
Ye-
yourself?
yes, yes. We need to get more people involved, and you know, and I've addressed this situation back in the day, even when I first started. You know, that we need more people that would want to come in, like for detox, for substance abuse, you know, and do this in the Spanish language. Now we understand that we, you know, there's a lot of countries that speak Spanish, but we all tend to have a different way of what would I say? I'll be like dialects, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
expressions. So like we need to have more people, you know, or at least some sort of knowledge to help out. But the main thing is really, let's try to focus on talking to the parents, talking to the older generation, because the older generation does not want to accept, you know, they want to keep it like on the hush hush, that nothing happens. Do you understand?
So they're
Like,
very specific in a way. Yeah.
yes, they are. Hmm. And you know, we all deal with depression in in any race, white, color, it doesn't matter. I mean, we deal with it, you know, but the cultural wise, for us, it's very hard for us to express our mental health issues. It's very hard because if our parents try to keep it on the hush hush, and our you know, our grandparents did the same thing, so it's a problem. We need to start changing that.
Absolutely.
We need to tell our children that if you have problems, talk to us. Be more open about it.
When it comes to a solution for this issue, would you say the biggest support system should start the family within first?
Correct.
Okay.
Especially in our culture. We need to address it with our family. Now, if we don't have the support of our family, then yeah, we sometimes, I've seen people take religious, you know, go and speak to a person of religion, a pastor, a priest, anybody. But also, if there isn't any support from our family, then we do need to find places, clinics where we can get, you know, some help. And there needs to be people there that, you know, will understand that it's hard for us as a culture to address our problems, to even accept if we're depressed. It's very hard.
Unfortunately, the barriers are many. Now, what
Mhm.
mental health resources available for your community right now that you aware of? None.
Very few.
What is your recommendation when it comes to state level, city level, community
I
within?
I think it's with the community. I think that well, it's hard to say. I mean, again, we're lacking people that are in this profession. We're lacking that. But I think it's we need to promote it. Like, we need to let them know that hey, there's like, I don't know, XYZ clinic that has somebody that can give you a helping hand, you know? And then
Absolutely.
also, like I said, even if there is help, it's trying to address the parents, the family, because all of this has to start with the support of the family. Because usually in our culture, and I don't know if yours, but in our culture, we tend to listen to our elders first. And that's how it is. Whatever our elders tell us is what we do. But if the things get out of hand, yeah, you know, we have to have some sort of, hey, the suicide hotline, I understand they have it in Spanish too, but we need to like get more, we need to be promoted more. Say, this is what we need to, you know, we're here for you in
So,
Spanish.
so the
We're here for you, you know?
when when it comes to the promotion, it should be a two side. One, the way you're saying it, and the other part is to talk to the within the community and say, hey, there is an issue, bigger issue that we really need to normalize that conversation. And it
Correct.
seems to me that both communities, your community and my community, Somalis, have
Mm-hmm.
a similar way of handling the situation. And it's unfortunately most of the times when it comes to the elders, yes, we tend to listen to them most.
Yes,
However, they are more dismissive than the younger generation, and the
you're
younger
right.
generation are dealing more hectic situations than the previous generation. So, like you
and
said, it's
and
educational that we're missing out.
yes, yes, and that and if we would just start with that, with a little bit more of education on addressing to our elders, our parents and stuff, like maybe in the schools, start letting them know, hey, we're here for you to help, because right now prior to the pandemic, we already had a problem.
Yeah,
So now with the pandemic, we have more of a problem.
double.
It's like double the problem,
Oh,
because now, kids being in the house all day and they're stressed out, and sometimes they're doing things that, like, we don't know what's going on. Things are getting worse,
unfortunately, it's a fact.
what's going through their mind. Not only that, situations like their parents lost a job, or their parents are immigrants, what's going to happen to them, all of those things. In reality, that focus on immigration has a lot of children and a lot of people with panic attacks, with depression, because it's a situation where they don't know what they're going to do. What's the next step?
That's a fact.
And
Unfortunately,
that's a fact, straight up, that we need to address that, not only in the Latino community, but we need to address that situation in all of the communities, because we have a lot of the communities that are undocumented, and they are it's like a thing that they're worried, like, oh, the kids, for example, I ran into a lot of children that their parents are undocumented. They're Americans, and their parents are undocumented, and they worry. They're like, well, what's going to happen? Is my parent going to be kicked out? Or what's going to happen if they lose their jobs, and all those things? So there's a lot to address in mental health at this point, and substance abuse. And the problem is here with the Latino community, since they don't believe in mental health, it's kind of like the
yeah,
stigma for our culture.
right.
They tend to go into drinking. That's the way to cope with the situation, or any substance abuse, and kind of like go through it. Oh, and our parents, grandparents, unfortunately, they think, well, it'll go away. Well, you'll get over it. That's pretty much how we think.
That's a
But we need to change that. We need to address, like, maybe starting out in school and letting them know that, what, we're here.
well. There's a lot of barriers that we need to break in within the communities.
Correct.
Finally, what is your final note for our viewers?
Well, I'm glad, thank you for the opportunity to talk to you. My final thing would be, like I said, promote, spread the word, let them know that, let the schools know that the children are being heard, especially with the Latino community, that we need to find more places where we know that there is people that can help, and let them know that mental health, not to be scared to talk about it,
Absolutely,
not
absolutely.
to be scared, because that's the main thing. We tend to have, and I'll put it as my own experience. At one point in my life, I was feeling very down when I was like about 18, 19 years old, and I didn't think anything of mental health, because God forbid I say something to my grandmother, she would smack me in the head and say, get over it, you
Exactly.
know but we can't do that anymore, because this is I could have taken the route of drinking or doing any kind of drug, but I didn't. But here's the problem: other people do it. They don't have the strength. So we need to help our children in that sense.
Abs-
Help and address the situation in the Latino community, that mental health is real. And there is a Spanish station that is like known very well, Univision. One day I was looking at one of the advertisements, and it said, what was it? It was depressionisreal.org, which means depressionisreal.org.
Oh,
It exists. They finally are addressing it to the point where, hey, there's a website. Let's talk about it. You're not the only one with the problem. So
that,
yeah, we need to address it more. We need to be open about it. Be more, promote it. Let them know that there is help out there, even if it's in a English clinic. It's okay, but we need to let them know that it's okay to talk about, because we have the problem of not talking about our problems. We just kind of like put it in, what is it, under the rug, what they say.
or maybe yeah, breaking
Yeah.
down the barriers, or at least breaking down the stigma, or
Hmm.
the taboo. So Linda, in this house, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Take care.